Well, obviously a tough battle on Saturday. I got an opportunity to come back, really look through the film, closely. And one thing you say, our guys played with phenomenal effort. Is one of the toughest and most unique college football games that I've ever had an opportunity to be a part of. I know our players played with great effort, like I said, throughout the game, and they came up a little bit short. We came up a little bit short in that game. But credit to them and the way they perform. But we are certainly excited about this week going against Washington State, a good team that's been really explosive on offense. Took us everything we had last year to be able to go battle and compete against these guys, and know that they'll put a great product on the field that we can go compete with this next Saturday.
Start here on the right with Zach.
Had a couple of days now to break down the film. Just curious how the hindsight has allowed you to assess your own coaching performance, and if you feel better, feel worse about some of the calls that you made, particularly in the fourth down calls in the game.
Yeah. Well, I'd say this: like, if I knew none of them were going to work, you would change every situation, right? That's not the way those decisions work, right? Here's the hard part. When you sit in this seat, when I make decisions, one, I'm a big boy. I can handle criticism, right? And that's going to come. That's and it's deserved. In this position, that's the way it works. I trust our players. I trust our coaches, and we have opportunities to win games. I'm gonna be aggressive to win games. If you look back at all of them, ultimately field goal before half. That's one that I feel we certainly could have gone either way. Like I said on Saturday, we felt that we had the look. If we didn't have the look that we wanted, we were going to call a timeout and we were going to kick the field goal. Could easily turn around and say kick the field goal there and feel good about it. At the very end of the game, I don't think there's any scenario where I wouldn't go for it on fourth down there when you have an opportunity to put the game away. They've scored on more than 50% of their drives at that point in the game. 75 yards to 50 yards to 80 yards for them with a potent offense. They're going to have a lot of success in a lot of those scenarios, and they had that day. And then, transversely, it gives our offense an opportunity to come back and still have a chance in that situation. We don't get it. If we get the first, the game's over. So what I would go back, like I said on Saturday, is the 3rd and 2. I wish we could have executed at a higher level. There was some confusion there. But what's tough is when I make those decisions, like I said, it doesn't just affect me. It affects everybody in our program. It affects everybody that cares about Oregon football. And I understand that. And like I said, I'm deserved of the criticism. But it's not like those decisions are made on Saturday in that moment. Those decisions are made earlier in the week. Hey, how do we want to play this game? We knew this was going to be a game. It was going to be a high-scoring game where there was, touchdowns over field goals mattered. In that scenario, like I said before half, I think you could certainly say that could go the other direction. A lot of the other scenarios, I don't know that you'd play it any other way other than if you already knew what the result of the play was going to be. Three opportunities on a fourth. The chances of us not getting one of those three is really unique, especially with what we've done offensively so far this year.
Same on the left here, Eric.
Sticking there for a moment, just from a process perspective, how much are you relying on analytics, probabilities, and how much of it is kind of gut feel and what you are kind of feeling in the moment there?
Yeah, it's a combination of what we've studied throughout the week and where we feel like our advantages lie. Certainly analytics is a part of that. Certainly, how good do you feel about the call versus what you think you're going to get from a look standpoint is part of that. And throughout a game, you have to reassess it and adjust it. It's never going to be all one or all the other, when it comes to that.
On the right in the middle, Chris.
Yeah, you mentioned Washington State's explosive offense, but they haven't been particularly explosive these last two games. Is there anything that you've seen on film on what's been different for them the last 2 weeks that at least you're willing to discuss of what you've seen?
They've been a little bit banged up, right? They've been limited with, wide out. They've been limited at tight end. I think, they've gotten a couple different looks that they haven't seen, but now they've seen them a few times, and I think they'll have, some answers for it. I know Coach Dickert's a great coach, and they make adjustment. They coach just like we coach as far as seeing film and not doing it the exact same way. They've been able to create explosive plays, really throughout the year, regardless of opponent. They got to take care of the ball, right? And I think that's happened a few times where they haven't been able to take care of the ball as well. But, the talent is certainly there, and their quarterback, Cam's really a special player.
Jared, right here on the right.
Picking there on Cam Ward, what makes him special? What stands out on tape about him to you?
I think he probably has the quickest release of a quarterback that we've seen. His scrambling ability is bar none, and it's not just, scrambling. He just does not go down, right? The guy is really hard to tackle. When you do get back there, you'll see people hanging on him, and he shrugs them off and creates an explosive play. But, yeah, his running ability and his quick release are two things that really stand out. He throws the deep balls with great touch as well.
On the left, James.
Get an update on Jaleel and if BA was he unable to go or is that discretionary on Saturday?
Yeah, BA right now he's taking a break for himself from for personal reasons. I won't discuss that beyond that. Jaleel practiced today. Looks like he'll be fine.
Back right, Trevor.
Just when you woke up on Sunday morning, what are kind of the first things that are going through your mind when you're thinking about what happened in that game?
Yeah, I mean, first off, I guess you're assuming I went to bed, right? I came anxious to get to work and say, okay, what can I go, fix, and where can we get better, and played a tough game against a team that went down the wire. And you evaluate and assess every single situation that shows up in that game, and then you say, okay, now how can I build off of this and learn off of it, right? And that's always going to be my mindset. What can I learn, and where can we improve as a team? Something I'm really proud of today. We had a phenomenal practice with our players. In fact, we wear our GPS units to tell how fast our guys run during practices. Our guys are running 5% faster than they've run on any Monday this year, which when it comes to speeds, that's pretty impressive. These guys came to work. They wanted to wear shoulder pads today. These guys wanted to go. So I think it tells you about our team's mindset, where they're set, and it's really the same thing from our entire staff. Our staff wanted to come in and get better as soon as they could.
Front right, Zach.
One of the things you've emphasized the most this year is the ability or the need to play better on the road. Obviously, finishing is a big part of that. But in general, how do you feel that you've seen your team get better progressively playing on the road?
Yeah, well, in general, there were some penalties that you certainly wish we would have had back, but we were able to limit, some of those false starts that had shown up for us. There was a false start, but we were able to limit some of those penalties where we beat ourselves. I thought our guys showed great composure. We didn't. They had a personal foul against them. We didn't have one. I thought our guys handled the walking into the eye of the storm in the best environment I've probably experienced here since I've been at Oregon on the road. I mean, it was really loud. It was great, that environment. So I thought our guys handled a lot of those pieces right. It's just about finishing at the end.
On the left, Eric.
Stone and Jackson are two of the more disruptive edge players in this conference. What makes them tough and just that challenge for you guys up front?
Yeah, like you said, they're just good players, right? They play, they get knocked back at the line of scrimmage. They have the ability to pass rush. They can bend. They finish on the quarterback, and it shows up. This team, in my opinion, has been one of the better defenses, in my last 2 years. I know statistically it doesn't necessarily always match that this year, but they play, with the schematic advantage, and those guys play really hard.
Back left, Rob.
Obviously, you want your guys to play well regardless of location, circumstances, but you like the chance that you're at home this week. Obviously, it's homecoming. Will be a lot going on around campus.
Yeah, sold out game. I know our crowds will be amazing. As always, they always bring it. And I think, like I said, being able to have this game at Autzen is going to be a lot of fun.
All the way in the back, Matt.
I guess back to their offense, is there any similarities of just preparing for the basics of Washington and Washington State for their air raids and kind of the simple foundations of their offense?
Yeah, the team that this probably mimics the most is really Texas Tech, right, that we've played so far this season, right? It's very similar tree from, an offensive coordinator's perspective. But there's certainly some similarities to Washington, probably more, though, Texas Tech with some of the QB run game that they do, the tempo. This is going to be an extremely fast team, especially after successful plays. They go really quick. So that'll show up a lot on Saturday.
Front left, James.
Had a couple of questions on Rod Pleasant and Dalen Austin. Do you feel you need one or both of them to rise up the depth chart and be more significant contributors for you? How far are they from being able to do so, and what's kept them from being able to do so far?
Well, we have good players on our team, but those are certainly two of them, and both of them have gotten better and better every single week. And as soon as they are ready to be out there contributing for us, they certainly will be. I think they both, when you get here, you have to remember both those guys weren't able to get here until the summer. So it's a lot to pick up really quick. But it becomes a part of availability, right? Who's available to play, and then need, and then preparation and where you stand. And I'd say both those guys prepare extremely well. They're motivated to be great. When you come in as a freshman, you want to come contribute right away, but you can't always eat an elephant in one bite, right? It's a process. So those guys are focused on the process. They're getting better and better. And if they are able to go out there and contribute for us, we will certainly use them. Definitely been pleased with the progress that they've shown so far.
Center row on the right, Garrett.
Yeah, along those same lines, I know we asked you about Trequez the other day, but just, I guess, the value of being able to bring a guy like him off the bench and Nico and Dante when you have your two primary corners dinged up. Just what do you think that says about the depth of the secondary, especially compared to last year?
Well, I think that's where it gives you an opportunity to be able to be successful in games, right? When you talk about strength in numbers, right? And you never know where your role is going to exist, how it's going to exist, and how much roles change, right? And roles will continue to change this year on our team, right? It's never comfortable. Competition exists every day, right? So when guys come in and perform, and they perform at a high level, they get more opportunities. That's how it works. And it's good to have guys that have been able to come off in roles like that this year and play at a high level.
On the right, Zach.
In the game when JPJ has to go out for that one play with an injury, you turn to true freshman Poncho. What is it about him that he's shown this year that makes you feel confident sending him out there in that high pressure situation?
Yeah, consistency and physicality. Picking up a system and being able to execute it at a high level. He's a guy that's really rotated and played within every game for us this season. And it's because he's earned it. So in that situation, he's a guy that again has done a good job for us throughout the year. So it wasn't really even an opportunity to second guess putting him in because he was prepared for it.
Second row on the left here, Eric.
Patrick Herbert's contributions, the way he came back, you watched it for the touchdown, kind of followed the play. Just what impressed you with that and kind of his ability to do that?
Yeah, it reminded me of, the 49ers, Joe Montana, the catch, how it's coming back across that, that's scramble drill for us. And you don't know when it will necessarily show up, but we recreate that quite a bit in our practice settings. And I thought that was really good execution by him and Bo.
In the back, Matt.
Another 12:30 kickoff across the country, doesn't matter where, you're on TV in the middle of the day. Has that impacted recruiting at all? Your visibility, and I guess halfway through the point, just how would you assess your staff's ability to recruit right now?
Yeah, I think we're able to recruit at a high level because people see, the direction we're headed and what this program is really all about. When they get to see us on center stage, we certainly appreciate that. But part of the reason we're on center stage is because of who we are, right, and what we've been able to do. So we're going to continue to go recruit the best talent. I think our staff's done a good job of identifying that talent. And there's some great players out there that we want to be a part of our program.
Back right there.
Apologies for going a little off topic here, but what's your reaction to seeing someone like Kilo Hana use his platform, the NIL rules, to reopen, kind of a community staple, the Wild Duck Cafe? What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, I'm so excited for a guy like Kilo. I don't know if people realize how hard a guy like Kilo works. So, he does football. He's a student athlete, and then he goes and works at this restaurant that him and his family has opened. And this guy is an incredible giver, very selfless. But part of coming to Oregon isn't just about being a great football player. It's not just about winning football games. It's about winning in life. And I think he's a great example of a guy that's winning in life right now. He's creating opportunities for himself. He's building value for his family and his future. And I'm really excited for him.
Front left, James.
Ordinarily, I'd wait to ask until spring meetings in Scottsdale, but the Big Ten doesn't have the benefit of time. When do you want the Washington game to be played on the schedule, Dan? If it's the last game of the regular season, Friday or Saturday after Thanksgiving in 2024, just because?
I'm not even thinking about that.
Well, I only ask now because, like I say, the Big Ten might announce next year's schedule within a month or something.
Yeah, so whatever they announce, we'll play them and just put the ball down in the middle of the turf and we'll play. I don't have a preference right now, at least, and certainly haven't put enough thought into it.
Front right, Zach.
We've seen Camden struggle with kickoffs in particular the last couple of games. I know you mentioned at Stanford and this past week that, elements were going to play a factor in the special teams game. Is that more of your reasoning for that? Have you seen something in his mechanics that have kind of changed things? How do you kind of assess this situation?
Yeah, I mean, both of his mishits, that is a place where the wind blows that direction, right? And within that game. But no, I've got the utmost confidence in Camden. He's a professional in how he approaches it. And, it wasn't that long ago that we were recognizing that kick he hit in the Texas Tech game, right? And I think that everybody wants to remember that. And you know what? Camden didn't win that game for us, right? And Camden didn't lose the last game for us, right? He was a part of a play within a sequence of the game that led to us not winning the game, but it wasn't the reason that we didn't. So Cam's a phenomenal player. I know he'll bounce back. Season gets long, right? You're talking about now we're in the middle of the year, and everybody's body's different. But I will say this: I know Camden's approach and how he's going to go attack in the future. I know he's going to make some more big kicks for us and hit some great kicks for us throughout the season.
On the right, you're in second row, Jared.
Now that you've had a chance to go back and watch the film, just curious what you made of Bo's performance on that last drive and how you kind of seen him bounce back these last few days.
Yeah, Bo. Bo played a really impressive game in my opinion. Bo led. Bo was calm and composed. Bo didn't feel like he had to go create plays on his own. He was able to operate within the system, and I thought he did a really good job. Throughout the game on Saturday. And I know there's moments that Bo wants back, and we certainly have coached some things. Hey, Bo, this should have looked different, and he appreciates that because he wants to be coached. But yeah, I thought Bo did some really good things for us on Saturday, and we'll continue to do them this year.
All the way in the back, Matt.
Early in the season, around that Tech game, you talked about being better at containing the quarterback. If this is a team that runs a similar game plan, just how you feel like you guys have improved in that kind of area?
Well, we certainly affected the quarterback a lot more this year. And again, it's twofold. It's what we're doing better schematically, and it's what we have, from a personnel standpoint on our team, and it's our players embracing improvement. And this will be probably our toughest challenge, at least so far this season, for containing the quarterback because of how he extends plays. Their offense is a timing offense, so when those plays do get extended, you don't always know where these wideouts are going. You don't know where they're going to be. It's really scramble offense sometimes in those moments, and that's really hard to defend. So we have to do an elite job of it this Saturday for us to be effective, and that'll be a big piece of this game.
Last question, James.
Troy is rapidly approaching a lot of program records, season and career for wide receiver. Everybody, coaches, players at every level, always preach consistency. What is it about him that's allowed him this season to be this consistent, this higher performer, no matter the competition, and be pursuing some of the numbers and stats that he's racking up right now?
Yeah, it starts with talent. Troy has special talent, right? But beyond that, Troy's a guy. We're on the flight heading back from the game on Saturday, and he's texting me the things he knows he wants to do better and what he wants to improve on and where he's going to be better for the team and be better for himself. And I think that's just part of it. You have to stay hungry. And he's been a guy that's been really hungry this year to be the best version of himself. And I think he knows that he even has a higher standard than what maybe you've seen so far to this point. So I'm thrilled to have him on our team. He's a great player for us, and excited to see what he continues to do.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.